All right, highlight for today, and it's a pretty remarkable day, kind of a reprice session. Anybody that tells you, I knew this was going to happen, is a liar. Eventually, you're going to have a reprice day to the downside and correct on all this strength. But a lot of those people are short all the way up, and then when they're finally right, they do it and have lost money. The key is when in the day where it broke a lot, could you have said, be careful long, this could reprice? That's what's important. To say for the last 2 weeks, we're due for a move down, big correction, big correction. You were wrong 14 days before you were right on the 15th day. So around 9 o'clock Central, well, first of all, we come in with not just good volume, but above average volume. Over 300 S&P contracts were traded at around 8 Central. Way above average for the last couple of weeks. That's number one. Number two, for the first time in a long time, it was the NASDAQ that was the weakest index on the board. The Dow was strong, the ES was strong, or stronger rather, coming in to the U.S. Open. And the NASDAQ was down and down quite a bit, and all the FANG stocks that represent most of the NQ were down. All right, so now we still don't know. I'm still not telling people, look out below, we're going to break 600 NASDAQ points, so on and so forth. The point is, there was a moment just after 9 Central. We're in the room. We had said, look out below and be careful getting long. Let's go over why. Number one, we had spent in good volume 30 minutes, which is a long time, the first 30 minutes, in a range that was pretty wide where they withstood a nice rally in the Dow in the first 30 minutes. And the NASDAQ still stayed weak. But in those 30 minutes, they created where the game was. And I'll show you, it's a little bit more clear in the ES. But there was this moment in the NASDAQ where it had sell stops with sell stops. It was just after 9, about 9:05 Central. All right. You had a swing high that's just sticking up there right there. And you end up having a failure high. But I don't know that's a failure high when we're there. Sure, we know it now when we're way over here, but we don't know it at the time. You start to see it when it comes off this fast. And this is why you got to pay attention to other markets. If you're an ES trader, why are you talking about the NASDAQ? You got to know what the NASDAQ is doing or listen to someone who's following it. So you start to maybe see that there's a little failure. That doesn't tell me it's going to be a reprice day either. But you had a consolidation box very quickly in here and a little bigger one in here. And it was like sell stops and sell stops. So right in here, along with what I'm going to show you in the ES, overlapped. You had a potential move lower with a lot of sell stops that could be taken out below here and below there. And they went and they took them. At the same time, you had the same or similar things set up in the ES where they took out their first 30-minute range. And I had told people, be careful because this is a lookout below moment. I'm not going to say it's repricing the ES, but this looks like it's a reprice session in the NASDAQ. The time they were down 2.5%, 3%. They went down another 2.5%, 3%. They were down a little over 5% at their worst levels. And there's a chance that they, exceed that 5%, 6% as we move into the late morning, early afternoon. All right. Now, not saying that I knew it was going to go down another 3% as it continued to tumble. I'm just saying that in this ES chart, it showed the bears won a pretty big victory. All right. So you have this little dance that you could call sell stops, failure now at that point. And then you go into the ES. And the ES, all these green lines are places of support. And it looks like there's a ton of them jammed up. That's because we covered a lot of prices. All right. This is what I'm talking about. The first half hour of a lot of volume. And let me do this again. The first half hour of a lot of volume has a range like this. So you had a lot of volume overnight. That's what I mean to say. You come in the first half hour. Here's the fight right there. That's the fight. Above it, the bulls will have a chance to stem the tide and not have this big down day. But below it, you have a chance to just go lower. How much lower? You don't know until as you move, you start adding to say, wow, well, wait, be careful, be careful. Where do you say be careful? Down in here? Too late. Here? Too late. We were saying it right here. I said it right there. And I'm talking right now live to a group of people who heard it. Be careful long in here. You got maybe a capitulation reprice day in the NASDAQ. I'm not yet ready to call it's a reprice day in the ES just yet, but it is a be careful long because you withstood a big move up and then back down in the Dow, which is a third component of this analysis. But this is the first, it's not just the first half hour range. It's the first half hour range of a lot of volume way above average in the overnight session coming in, ahead of a big economic number that comes out tomorrow. And on the heels of a vaccine announcement yesterday and into today that actually put a date on a vaccine, November 1st, for the first time since they talked about vaccines. And we can't rally? Well, do you think maybe that's why we've been rallying the last 1 or 2 weeks? If you've been around markets any period of time, you know that it doesn't necessarily wait with everybody else with good information. They price it in ahead of time. And it actually goes down. Buy the rumor, sell the fact type of thing. Buy the rumor a vaccine is going to come out November 1st, sell the fact that it's going to come out November 1st. So all those things lining up, and then the first half hour has this range. Those are all the things that you have to combine in order to make good decisions in real time. All things that after I just said them, people are probably like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay, I get that. Why didn't I think of that? Heavy volume coming in over the overnight session, through the overnight session. A vaccine that actually put a date on it for the first time during this pandemic. Why aren't we rallying? Well, okay, you should ask the fact that we've rallied. Maybe they started to price that in already. Ahead of a big economic report, the biggest of the month, the payroll number. Knowing that the White House and the Fed gets this number the Thursday before the Friday of the release. Maybe it's out. Maybe it's leaked. Who knows? That's a little speculative. But the fact that there's some position squaring ahead of a big number, not a surprise. The fact that you finally get, you would think, great news November 1st. I guarantee you people not in this business would have said to me before today, before they might have seen what happened today, yesterday, and I said, wow, the markets are going to be up a lot. Tomorrow, the vaccines are going to. What happened? Not only weren't we up a lot, we opened up down 0.5% in the S&P, and we started to capitulate first in the NASDAQ, down a lot. For the first time in a long time, it was the NASDAQ, not only the outlier, but outlier to the weak side. So hopefully this all makes sense. And if I went too fast, rewind it. That's the great thing about the recording. So in here, you had a chance to really get weak. Now, I don't care if it's these levels or support levels you have. When the market effortlessly goes through your support, that's good information too. Don't forget that, especially if you think or you know you have good levels. If you have good levels that usually work, maybe you're not great at trading them, maybe you are, but let's say you have good support resistance levels. They're even more valuable when they don't work. When a support level gets run through like nothing, hey, that's a good probability of look out below. And you started seeing that in here. When they slice through some levels, they hesitate here and then bam. And they slice through this is not a surprise. Right? They hold this a little bit and they slice through these three guys. This is not a surprise. Then it comes right back up, old support, new resistance, falls off the face of the earth a little bit more. So again, the highlight is, when can you start to think, wow, this could be a pretty trendy move to the downside? Remember the saying, the trend is your friend? No, it's not. Because by the time you recognize it, it's over. You have to not recognize it at the very beginning. But you certainly can't wait to the very end. And most people recognize good moves after they already happened and they reach and they're late. The trend is not your friend. Or it's the kind of friend that'll sleep with your spouse after you die. Have a safe rest of the day and good luck tomorrow. If you're watching this before Friday, the 4th of September, the unemployment report.